Hello, my Full Moon friends. Welcome back. Chandra Zen Odyssey. Sitting in my spot. I happen to really like this spot. The lighting is not the best today, but it's okay. I am going to get a little personal in this video. I have been thinking about what is it that I want to make a video about and what kind of content do I want to create next week, what kind of message I want to put out there. I don't know, as a consumer, if you think about the process of creating content, but it's a process. It's a serious process, and well, I mean, I guess it's as serious as we make it.
Welcome! Here is your hostess and coach, Chandra Zas, helping people make food and mood changes doable without missing out. Go ahead, high five that like button, subscribe and share while you're there.
But it is something that definitely requires my higher level thinking brain and my heart and my intuition and my focus. And yeah, it's one of my favorite parts of my working on my business is actually creating this content and thinking about what I want to put in these videos and what I want to say and what do I think you want to hear and what do you need to hear. And so the last couple of days I sat on, okay, well, what is it that I want to share? And my business coach, she advises to not make content about what she's a coach, business coach for coaches, what you're personally going through and what you're in the middle of working on or transforming. And I really love the concept of like, know the rules and then know when and why you're breaking them. So I'm breaking one of these rules, which I think that there's a lot of validity to the rule. And I also love to break rules. So I'm breaking the rule and I'm talking about, it'll be a little bit messy because I am actually still kind of in the middle of it. And yet it's a concept that I think is really true, that is like unending. It's a practice, a lifelong practice. And so it's not the first time I've gone through a phase like this, and yet I am in this phase. And it has to do with forgiveness and drama. I just got off of an amazing call with my astrologer. I am working with Valerie, who I'm going to definitely tag below here, because I've been working with her every month, and it has been so insightful to know my particular energies and also the energies of what's going on. And it's been really, really useful to my business.
Hello, my friend. How are you? I'm in the Dead Sea, floating in the water. Go ahead and like and share and follow so we can keep in touch.
And I was actually just talking with her about kind of my personal work of looking at my drama and my tendency to create drama. And I just had a really uncomfortable talk, challenging talk with one of my really old dear friends. And we had a pretty hard, we had some conflicts in Burning Man last year. And so this has been something I've been chewing on and processing for, 6 months now. And we just kind of came to some resolution. And he gave me some feedback. One of them was that the drama that I bring, and he's not the first person that's told me this. And so it's something that I'm like, okay, well, this is a pattern and it's something I've been told many times. So what do I look at here? What do I grow? What do I take from this? And he said a couple other things that felt pretty hard for me to hear. And last night I woke up at 2:30 and I look back at like what happened. Sleep is one of the things I've been really working on with myself for the last few years. Before this, I've never struggled with sleep, but sleep has been something that I've had a couple clients that I've worked really dearly on it, and I've also worked on it with myself. And one of the emotional components that I found with sleep is that when I don't make time for processing, so sometimes I have like big calls in my business, sometimes I have big conversations with my friends, or there's just something that's like I'm still processing. And I've learned that if I allocate time and I intentionally use time during my day to really process through something that's going on, like this talk with my friend, if I make time to actually process it, which for me is often like going for a walk or sitting by the river or sometimes talking to a friend, there's many ways that we can process. just sitting and being with it and letting our brain think about it, letting the emotions move through our body. And I didn't do this the other day. And so at 2:30, as I was just talking to one of my dear friends about like the waking up in the middle of the night, and how there's this like waking up and going back to sleep, and there's like the waking up of like, oh my gosh, I'm in my body, which is often followed with like a couple hours of being very awake. Or sometimes for me, it was actually, I woke up at 2:30 yesterday morning and was awake the remainder of the day. And the words, one of the hard sentences that he said to me was just the first thing in my brain. And so I sat there and I thought about the different things that he said, and I looked at the different patterns in my life, and there was a part of me that was feeling not good, that was feeling uncomfortable, feeling sad, feeling hurt. And I looked in my brain and I was like, okay, well, what are my tools here? What can I do here? I kind of, through our conversation, I made a decision to kind of take some space from our friendship, because for me, the big reason was like empathy is one of the most important things. And we kind of came to a difference in our values. It's about empathy is not something he really values. And empathy is just one of the most important things that I value, especially in my friendships. And he wasn't really willing to give me that. And so it was a reason for me to be like, okay, like if you invite me over for dinner, I'll probably come, but I'm probably not gonna go out of my way and invite you over for dinner and make you dinner. Kind of that kind of thing. Like no hard feelings, but like for me, no close feelings. And so as I was kind of just still in the middle of the night, 2:30 in the morning, thinking of all this, I was like, what can I do? What can I actively, we made a resolution for our friendship, but what can I do with myself and with my energy, with what I'm feeling? And my Zen teacher told me over a decade ago, use your mind, don't let it use you. And he also had this other really powerful analogy of like, when we're angry, it's like holding on to a skillet, and that why would we not drop the skillet? Why would we hold the skillet? So why would we hold on to the emotion? And so it made me think of like, how can I release this? How can I transform this? Not avoid it, not ignore it. How can I learn from it? But then also, how can I let it go? And forgiveness was what came to mind. And forgiveness is one of the most powerful things we can do, especially when we feel like we've been wronged or hurt or disrespected or whatever the situation brings about for us. And so I thought about, well, how can I forgive this person? And then other examples also came, because I'm thinking about like the pattern. And I was like, I can choose to, and I don't believe in God, but I do believe in the power of prayer and the power of forgiveness and the power of choosing love. And so I went into, okay, well, how do I, and one of my really dear friends, Sean, was telling me about a conversation that he had with one of our really dear friends, Ehab, who's a Sufi. And he was telling me a story about how somebody really wronged Ehab. And Sean was sharing with me like, and Ehab's response was, I want to pray for their heart. I want to pray for, I want to send love to them. And so these kind of combinations of pieces came to me, and I was like, for these people in my life that I've had hard times with and that I still have hard feelings, how about I actually consciously choose to forgive them, and not only to forgive them, and which is a lot for my own benefit, and how can I also send them love, pray for them, like think about their hearts and think about their well-being and send them love. And I do believe that we can send each other energy. You can disagree or not with me, and whether the energy gets there or not. What I experience, just like holding on to a hot skillet, I'm the one that's angry. I'm the one feeling that anger in my body, that fire. And I'm not saying that anger is bad or wrong. Anger can be very useful, a tool for change and making shifts. Anger is not bad. But when we're holding on to anger and it's not useful and we're not using it to make a change, we're just stewing, which often has like resentment and outrage and these other emotions intertwined. How can I, when I'm choosing to love these people and send love to these people, I am generating and cultivating love in my body. I am feeling the love. So not only am I wishing them the best and potentially they're receiving loving energy from me, arguable or not, I think science will prove it actually eventually, but I get to feel love. I get to feel the physical vibration of love in my body. Forgiveness is something that I would put as something that we do. Love is a feeling that we have, and choosing to love, and maybe you could even say sending love is an action. But forgiveness is something that comes from a shift inside of us that says, I'm ready to forgive, I'm ready to let this go, I'm ready to move on, I'm ready to make a shift. It comes from a feeling of some kind of compassion or acceptance, or for me, it was a piece of acceptance, like this is what it is, and we humans are humans who are sometimes really great and sometimes half of the time imperfect. And so moving into this place of forgiveness and choosing to forgive and feeling this love. And then I heard my partner he gets up at 5 a.m. and I was already awake. So I got out of bed and I came down and I was chatting with him about the whole situation. And he offered me his perception on drama, because I was like, he's like, well, what did you learn? And I was like, I hadn't really come up with much. I had come up with like love and forgiveness, but I hadn't come up with like, what have I learned from this? And he offered me this concept. He loves this book, 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership. Highly, highly recommend it. Incredible book. And he says, well, drama is like when we're below the line, and drama happens when we have expectations and we think that we're right. And I took that onto the situation of what happened with my friend and I at Burning Man, and I had definitely gone in with expectations of what I thought, how people should communicate, how I should be treated. I definitely had these expectations, and it's definitely where my drama came in. And I've been like chewing on and sitting with, well, what if if my expectations are connected to my values, like I'm not sure I want to let go of being respected or having communication. And there is still a piece in there that I can not demand it, or I can take space if it's not there, right? So that would be like the way that I could potentially decrease drama. I'm still chewing on this piece because there's definitely a part of me that is like really values communication, really values empathy, really values respect. And so how can I, one of the concepts I work with my clients on is these manuals that we have these expectations and that create unnecessary suffering. So how can I expect that people will be disrespectful and some people will not want to communicate, and accept that and forgive them for where they're at, and create love inside of myself and still stand up for what's true and still speak my truth. So deal with your emotions. If you're having a hard time sleeping, spend time during the day processing. If you're waking up with like emotions in your body, this is like one of the biggest things I've learned, and I don't hear anybody else talking about it. I've been talking to people about it. Have you noticed these connections? But I think, and tell me if you have noticed it and if it works for you. Would love some comments or some feedback on that. And love is an option. I've written a few posts and make little videos on this, that love is always an option. We can choose to love even people who hurt us, or even people that we feel wronged by, or even shitty situations. We can choose to love and forgive. And this is me being also human and applying the tools that I use with my clients and practicing what I preach and just being the best human that I can be. And I love change and I love transformation. And so I love all of this stuff. For me, it's fun. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing in the world. And yeah, so that's my message for this week. And if you're looking to do this kind of work, this is the kind of work I do with my clients. It's kind of work I do with myself. And also just take this content and use it what fits and resonates with you. Thank you so much and have a beautiful week. See you next week.